Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 3785 Wild Rose Loop here in West Linn. I describe everything as if you were standing in the street facing the front of the home. So right now we are sitting, the line comes out absolutely perfectly underneath the front doorway. Got a 4-inch ABS clean out, and man, this thing was a booger. I've done almost 25,000 sewer scopes. That thing gave me more run for my money than even a seized-on cast iron cap. Someone put a bunch of plumbing compound in there. Between that and those sharp metal threads biting into this thing, took me almost 45 minutes to get that cap off of there. Anyhow, we're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We are zeroed out, and off we go. A little bit of grease built up in the line. Mostly my camera lens got gunked up. This is not an outrageous level of grease here. Just because I dropped in, my camera scraped it, the face of the camera head right into it. And so it's quite a shallow sewer line coming out here. I mean, I can just about reach down and touch the bottom of the pipe, maybe 2 feet, 2.5 feet at most. You've obviously got a basement, which would lead one to believe you have a very deep line. So this basement has a ejector pump. Common thing on a lot of basements, especially with a house that from inception was never given a super deep sewer line. So everything down that basement level relies on a sewage ejector pump to blast everything up from basement level up to where gravity can take over. And that's situated in the little Harry Potter cupboard underneath the staircase down there. We just swapped over to 4-inch PVC pipe. We had a little bit of a offset there, but it looks like a very minor one. My camera had very little issue getting over the top of that. Anyway, the importance of the ejector systems, there's just a couple things to keep in mind. They have a lifespan like anything. The more they are used, the more frequent the pump's going to burn out, and they eventually will burn out. There's always an alarm system, or should be. Home inspector will probably point that out when they come out here. If you ever hear that alarm go off, do not use your basement floor plumbing. That means your pump is not functioning, and that tank is only going to have so much room to fill up before it overloads and it'll just start dumping sewage out. So anyway, be very aware of that. If the power ever goes out, do not use your bottom floor basement. It is completely reliant on power. And if it's an important enough area there, you might want to learn how to use figure out how to use a gas generator, and you can connect them in that way. But you've got upstairs plumbing that's all gravity fed, so you've got bathrooms and a power outage, thank goodness. Not my favorite setup when the whole home relies on it though. Anyhow, here's the main at 58 feet. We've got a reasonable amount of debris built up towards the end of the line. At worst, I may recommend cleaning on this. We'll see how it looks on the way out once the line's drained. Water's kind of obscuring my view right now. And the line's got a lot of fall to it, a lot of diving, plenty of gravity working in your favor here. So if it's not a significant enough level of it, I may not recommend cleaning. I may. We'll see here. All right, located the camera head successfully. The line terminates out on Wild Rose Loop. So as you face the house from the street, again, the line comes out underneath the doorway, and we'll scope backwards that direction here in a moment. Anyway, runs away from the front door. It then moves from right to left under the driveway. It gets most of the way across the driveway, but turns and shoots out to the street before getting out from underneath the left side edge. So the line straightens out and runs down the driveway, all said and done, but oriented more towards the left side of the driveway, and then runs out in the middle of the road here and hits the main. In case you're curious how the line's routed. And if you ever feel like turning that, I mean, you'd have to spend some serious money to do it, but that main out there, my locate here is coming in around 10.5, 11 feet deep. So it's certainly a main lateral that could have accommodated a basement floor gravity line. It's rather expensive to install them, and unless the whole neighborhood's doing them when they build these developments out, usually you're going to do an ejector system. Just how it goes. Now, the one plus side with ejectors I do like, not that this line really has it, but a lot of houses out there that have, bellies in them, offset joints, more significant ones. What you have here is very minor. At least thus far it looks that way. But they tend, if they're used frequently, the ejector pumps actually keep your lines much cleaner. When those things turn on, they're pumping, 5-10 gallons, they're blasting a ton of water down the sewer line. In doing so, it often helps to remove buildup from the line. So honestly, it's not a bad idea. I tell a lot of people that have ejector systems, once a week, go down there, run the bathtub for 10 minutes, let that pump run once or twice. They act almost like an in-house drain cleaning system. They really help keep buildup down, especially when you've got bellies in the line, offset joints. Again, this house doesn't really have that, but there's some advantages to having an ejector. If they're used, anyway. They're only used once a year when grandma comes over to stay. Not really going to see much benefit from that. Anyway, line is all drained out at this point. You have a teeny tiny bit of standing water out here at the end of the PVC. I mean, we're talking like a 32nd of an inch. You can see the debris buildup that you've got out here in the line. It looks like you've got some wipes. That one I broke loose. And if that's all there is, that's not drain cleaning worthy. That's going to break loose on its own. And what's left over is so small and so far from the home, it would have no chance of causing a blockage. If you blocked up on a spot like that, it would have everything to do with what you put down the line. At 50 feet out in 4-inch pipe like this, you have to get one heck of a blockage to back up from that far. In smooth plastic pipe with this much fall. This line dives very, very hard. We're going from 2 feet down to about 11 feet deep in that run. That gives you an idea. That's a pretty hard angle. Yeah, and so far here, pretty much all the buildup to even speak of. And as it relates to, what a really nasty, dirty line looks like, this is actually quite a clean sewer line. So, being that all that stuff is situated that far away from the home, it's not a situation where I would recommend cleaning on it. The offset joint here, as you can see, my camera hops right over it. My camera is upside down right now. When I run right up against that lip there, it's hitting halfway up my camera lens, so it's only about a 1/2 inch offset. In the world of offset joints, that is not a significant offset. You still have 3.5 inches of height, 4 inches of width there. Lots and lots of room for stuff to get through. Again, that's another location there where if you were to get a blockage, it would have everything to do with what you put down the sewer line. You'd have to get something, that large, 3.5 by 4 inches wide to stop up in that location, if not larger. So, and as you can see, the top of the pipe here is clean. And sidewalls, there's zero indication of flow problems. The only debris in this line here is a little bit of grease buildup. And the joint there was intact. Those joints like that are fern coat, and they allow for some movement, some slippage, without separating, opening up to the ground. So, right on. Anyway, everything I've seen so far, you got a couple things to talk about, but none of them are rising to the significance of repairs. Not even close, in my opinion. We're now going backwards toward the home. Here in about 15 feet, we'll be well within the house. In fact, we just picked up our first tie-in there, so that we are inside the home now. And then everything from this point on, I'm going to go just a little bit further back in here, and then we're going to get to a spot where the piping becomes exposed, plumbing. That's 3-inch pipe, and right here is where the line's going to jut upward and head upstairs. That's the end of the line there for us. Good looking line end to end here. By and large, drains off completely. The standing water you do have out there at the end of the line is so minor, it's not even going on my report. And it could easily, that little bit of standing water could easily be related to the couple wipes there. My camera kind of shifted around into the flow line. So I do not ever legitimize in writing a belly that tiny. I don't even like it being on a report. People see it and they start losing their minds over it being something. After 13 years and almost 25,000 sewer scopes, honestly, in 4-inch plastic pipe, even large bellies that are 20, 30 feet long and have an inch or two of standing water in them, what you would generally refer to as a significant belly, rarely cause problems unless the homeowner significantly helps things along by flushing nothing but grease, wipes, balled up toilet paper, things like that down the line. It takes a conjunction of things to get these to act up like that. So everything we've got here is far too minor to need repairs. About the only structural issue I can even nitpick is a minor offset joint, 1/2-inch offset. Anyway, sewer line is functioning properly at this time. Buildup in the line is minimal. Most of the lines got a little skiff of grease buildup. It's nothing I'd ever recommend cleaning. And then the only, again, solids that are in the line are 50 feet out from the house. There's only 3 wipes scattered around out there. No big deal. Good looking line.